Morning, this is the 951 departure to Euston, but you're going as far as Crewe. Board passengers here, Preston, board passengers, fuck. Board passengers here at Preston first, and press F1 for your briefing. Yeah, it's like I can't read. Okay, so first of all, insert the master key, reverse it to neutral. Set the headlights to the day position. Reset tilt. Reset TAS. DRA off because the up ahead is clear. Put that to 20 Celsius. So this is 1 Alpha 42 951 Preston to Euston. Welcome aboard this brand new Virgin Trains Pendolino unit at Preston. These will eventually replace the aging Mark III stock locomotives on the West Coast Main Line. This morning you're driving the first leg of 1 Alpha 42 from Preston to Crewe, so this is set in 2003. So calling at Preston, Wigan, Warrington and Crewe. Maximum speed is 110. Due to the West Coast Main Line not being upgraded for tilted trains yet, please isolate the unit's tilt. Press Control file, change your desto to London. So isolate the tilt. So because on the West Coast Main Line, trains can only go up to 125 when they can tilt because of the tight curves. So if the train can't tilt, they can only go up to 110. Also need to change the desto to London. Southampton, Newcastle, Newark for some reason, Motherwell, Milton Keynes, Manchester Piccadilly, King's Cross for some reason, Euston, there we go. So departing Preston, speed limit is 35 miles an hour, going up to 110. And the next stop is Wigan North Western, in about 15 miles. So we're on the West Coast Main Line Missing Link by Alan Thompson Simulation, or ATS as it's often abbreviated. So if you can already tell from the AI, this scenario is set in 2003 and also from the briefing as well. So we're driving this from Preston to Crewe, so we're passing through, our sections we will see will be Preston, Leyland, Exton Bolshire Lane, Wigan North Western, Wellington Bank Quay, Acton Bridge, Harford, Winsford and then Crewe. Crewe of which is 50 miles away. So in 2003 the Pendolinos would have been a year old because Virgin introduced them, I think it was initially on the London to Manchester trains in July 2002 to coincide with the Commonwealth Games, whatever they were. So Pendolinos were originally delivered in an 8-car configuration before being extended to 9 cars, and then later being extended, or most of them being extended to 11 coaches in 2011-2012. I think they were also the very last trains to be built at Watchwood Heath by Alstom in Birmingham, because the new Pendolinos were built in Italy and shipped through the Channel Tunnel, or a boat. This is Farringdon Cove Junction. Line from the left joins from Blackburn. And for some reason, when the Pendolinos first entered service for a few years, they had the front pantograph raised instead of the rear one. Don't know why. So coming up on 110. This is Leyland. I don't think anyone has done a scenario with a Pendolino where you have to isolate the tilt. Because most Pendolino scenarios are set like 2008 and onwards. So it is pretty interesting to drive a Pendolino without the tilt. This is Exton Junction, found to the left, goes towards Bolton and Chorley. Next station will be Exton Mulshaw Lane. So in 2003, Virgin would have operated 86s, 87s, 90s, Pendos and Voyagers. So quite various stock, not like today where you have just Pendos and Vomiters. So I think Avanti are getting like IETs to replace the Voyagers. Yes, replace tilting trains with non-tilting trains on the West Coast Main Line, that's a good idea. So yeah, the Avanti's IETs would only be able to go at 110 instead of 125. But I guess the IET will make up for it in terms of acceleration and performance. Also, I guess fuel consumption, because if it was bi-mode and if it was going to Holyhead, you could run electric from Euston to Crewe and then diesel from Crewe to Holyhead. And the diesel engine wouldn't even have to be that powerful, because North Wales coast is pretty flat. Also, I'm pretty sure Avanti are keeping the Pendos for all the current services, because I think Avanti are in the process of doing like a massive refurbishment on them. Because the Pendos have been going for 20 years, which is a very long time. Same with the Voyagers as well. Because the Voyagers came in, I think it was 2001, 2002 with Virgin on cross-country trains. You know, before Arriva took over in 2007. Because I think Virgin used to do like the south to Glasgow, like Bournemouth to Glasgow, that will go via Manchester. So we come off of Crewe and then go through Manchester Piccadilly, through Bolton to Preston, and then continue towards Glasgow. But then it got replaced, I think it was like 2006-ish, by just Pennine from Manchester Airport to Glasgow. Then the cross country was diverted to the East Coast Main Line. So in 2003, you would have had, on the West Coast Main Line, around here, you would have had Virgin, First Northwestern, EWS with parcels before the contract expired or finished or whatever. You had First Northwestern with 150s, 142s, 158s, 175s. Yeah, I think First Northwestern had quite a few liveries. Like, it had X Merseyrail. I think you might have had X Regional Railways, I think. And you would have had the blue livery with the Golden Star. I think the Golden Star livery looks pretty smart on the 158s. Yes, I know, Tass, don't moan at me. So now approaching Wigan Northwestern. We can literally walk up the street towards Wigan Moorgate. So at Wigan Northwestern, aiming to stop at the end of the platform. Pair of sprinters going to Blackpool. It's a shame that the AP150 and the AP156 don't have very compatible destos. And I hope you won't go into Liverpool because the train just left. So departing Wigan Northwestern, the speed limit is 110 miles an hour. Next stop is Warrington Bank Quay in 11 miles. So coming up on the left soon will be Spring's Branch Junction, which at the time would have been used to store cut-up 37s, 47s, 56s and some other stuff. Probably like departmental stuff. When I was building the scenario, I did try to put some 37 and stuff in there, but when I tried to load the scenario, it just kept dumping, which was a pain in the ass. And to the right goes towards Liverpool Lime Street via Chatmoss. Well, it joins Chatmoss at Highton. I think Virgin held on to their local haul stock until 2005, 2006. It's because Pendolinos, they had a lot of teething problems when they had service, mainly to do with the tilting on the doors. Because if you're building off the technology that the APT used, you're going to have a lot of issues. Even if it is like 20 years later. And when 390-033 crashed at Crewe, Virgin brought in another local haul stock called the Pendolino. It's basically like a 90 on the front, and there's some Mark III coaches and a Mark III DVT. It was used for quite a while until it was gradually faded out when the 11-car Pendos came in. Then it was like Friday onlys between, I think it was Euston to Preston on a Friday night, because I remember seeing it at Wigan, because you had like a Freightliner heavy haul 90 on the front, and then a Pendolino behind it. I think that was like 2012-ish. So Virginia does have quite an interesting history. And also in 2003 you would have also had the HSTs before the Voyager took over. Because on the North Wales coast, from Euston to Holyhead, or Euston to Crewe, or Euston Chester, or Euston to Llandudno Junction, you had, I think it was like local haul stock first, then HSTs, and then Pendolino was tracked by 57. So the Pendo would start from Euston, go as far as Crewe, coupled to a 57-3, and then haul it to Holyhead. And then that was scrapped in, I think it was like 2008, 2009, and then the Voyager took over permanently. It makes sense to replace Pendo with a Voyager, because so you don't have to spend so much faff at Crewe and Holyhead running around trains and coupling. Yeah, so the last junction, that was Golborne Junction, where the line towards Meadows comes off toward Chatmoss through Eccles. Next junction will be Winwick Junction, where we join from Chatmoss and Earlstown. So this is Winwick Junction. Line from the right joins from Earlstown and Chatmoss. Again, also in the early 2000s, before the HTAs came in, you had like sheds dragging around like really, really old hoppers, like the HAAs. Really strange. Of course, now in 2022, most coal trains have been replaced with biomass, or the coal power plant has been shut down. And because coal power stations have either been converted to biomass, or they've either been shut down completely. Like Didcot has been shut down, Ratcliffe has been, not Ratcliffe, Ridgely has been demolished, and Drax has been converted to biomass. Right, on this stretch it goes from 100 to 90, back to 100, then 80, then 90, then 100. Just keep it at one speed. On the left is Warrington Royal Mail Terminal, used by mail. So beginning to slow down for Banky. And we should also be slowing down, no, we should be going under the line from Warrington Central. So arriving into Warrington Banky. It would be nice if we could actually set the details on a Voyager. Apart from the shitty dovetail one. So arriving into Warrington Banky. So the Barton Warrington Bank Quay speed limit is 100 miles an hour, while 23 miles to Crewe. So the yard on the left, that's Arthur Yard. Used to store all sorts of things like wagons, containers, coal hoppers, locomotives. And we should be coming up on Acton Grange Junction, where you can change from the freight line to the passenger line for the freight line, and also where the line towards Chester comes off. Through Helsby. Yeah, it would be really cool to have like a modern version of Warrington Chester that includes Runcorn East. So looking at our speed at 110 miles an hour. So next minute, if I could talk, next point of interest will be Weaver Junction, where we join from Liverpool Lime Street through Runcorn. I think this train after Crewe would have continued straight to London. Or maybe it's up to Milton Keynes. So recently on Network Rail's archive, 2003 and 2004 have been added to it, which means we can do more backdated stuff, like with Valentas and old liveries, which includes mail. Because I haven't done a red scenario, which it's probably a good thing, because I think if I did do a red scenario, Barry Price would probably kill me for doing it wrong. Because you could do like 6-7 runs, because 6-7s they were originally built to do mail trains, and I think the first one was delivered in 1999 I think it was in Newport. And then when EWS lost the mail contract in, I think it was 2004, the 67s became mostly redundant. And I'm pretty sure 67s are the most useless locomotive in the UK. They have a really high top speed of 125, but they have a really dog shit power output. I think the only thing 67s is used for now are just the local haul trains in Wales by TFW. Also in tests in general, the 67 doesn't really get that much attention. Although saying that, same with a lot of stuff. Like 31s and 40s in the APT. I think we're falling behind the topping train from Liverpool. Because I think Central Trains used to run like a train from Liverpool to Stansted that would call at most stations between Liverpool and Crewe. I think it ran from Liverpool to Birmingham through Crewe and Stafford, then from Birmingham to Stansted through some route. Using 170s. Until cross country took over the Birmingham to Stansted and then Northern Midland took over Liverpool to Birmingham. Yeah, but imagine doing Liverpool to Stansted on a 170. That must have been a trek. This is Hartford. Next station will be Winterford and then Crewe. Also speaking of backdated stuff, I have to do more thing with my physical timetables because I've got like 16 of them. I don't really use them. Probably because I much prefer like digital ones. Yeah, I can't wait for Wagons 87. Much better than the shitty Overshap one. Probably because I would prefer digital timetables where you can just press Ctrl F and find a head code instead of looking through a book. But I guess backdated stuff does offer more retro scenarios. Like I think the most common year I have is 1992. Because I've got, I think, 1992, the Northwest, the Great Western between Reading, Exeter and Swansea. I've got 1992... I should know this. They're my books. Let me check on Google Drive because I didn't make a spreadsheet with all my physical working timetables on him. As I've got 1992 sections CE, PB, PE, PC, PF, WF, WK, and that's it. So I think that's the northwest, South Wales coast, North Wales coast, Brighton Main Line. I think that's it, because sometimes the roads have passenger and freight, some have passenger, some have only freight. I think I might do like a scenario pack of just like Valencia HSTs around the country. That'd be cool. Because I think in 1992, the only HST delivery you had was Intercity Swallow, because I think Intercity Executive was withdrawn, I think 1991 at the latest. This is Winsford. Yeah, I've also been thinking of doing like a South Wales Coast payware pack, says in 1992. I did have an idea for doing like an 08 scenario from like Oscar to Alexandra Dock, doing like shunting stuff with the Emerge Wales 08, but I can't figure out for the life of me how to drive it, because I can get it moving with the power, but with brakes they're completely fucked. Because the Emerge Wales 08 uses the Woodhead BR 08. Well, it does look good. Dovetail's documentation after to drive it is piss poor as usual. Because in the Woodhead BR Blue manual, if you look at the driving the train section, all they have is a picture of the cab and what each button does. It doesn't explain in any way how to actually drive the things. Like, how could anyone pick up Woodhead BR Blue, read the manual, and drive the train? Because the manual doesn't explain how to do any of it. Like, Hill Dovetail thought that was okay to ship. Anyway, enough ranting. Got about 4.5 miles to Crewe. Also, on a completely different subject, Armhouse Power Stonks recently released a screenshot of the body lines. It's like an upgrade or an update. I don't know what they're doing to it. Because if you wanted to upgrade the body lines for flirts, you'd have to completely redo the route, because it's got upgraded level crossings, upgraded signalling. Not sure about the layout. Yeah, updating the water lines would take a lot of work. So Charlotte coming into Crewe, which is basically just a massive junction. Because through the middle you have the West Coast Main Line from Glasgow to Euston. Drawing from the left will be the line from Manchester to Piccadilly. Line from the right will be the North Wales Coast from Chester and Holyhead. Line going to the right after the station goes towards Shrewsbury and Wales, South Wales. And line to the left will go towards Stoke on Trent, which is a future extension of the Missing Link, Phase 4. So yeah, there's a lot happening at Crewe. So on the right is the down avoider for Crewe, which is piss slow because I think the avoider line speed, I think it's either 5 or 10. Like, imagine trying to haul a heavy train up that gradient at 10 miles an hour. Very difficult, especially like a heavy container train. Speaking of which, there's a pair of 86s. From Felixstowe to Ditton for Mike 45. With the branded containers because I didn't put the banding patch in. Oops. So I think a yellow into platform 6, which is normally used for down trains heading away from London. I don't know why in the working timetable this train was passed into platform 6 when platform 5 was free. Very weird. On the right is the National Railway Museum, home of the last remaining APT. Also, where's Brian? I think Brian is the curator at the APT. Curator of the Heritage Centre. Pair of pacers going to Deansgate. I think in my head, I thought that the 63 had brought down, so First North Western replaced it with a pair of pacers. On the far right is a HST going to, I think it's Holyhead. Yeah, 1 Delta A7. And on the left is the 170 wheel falling behind. So this is Crewe, where the video ends. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this run from Preston to Crewe. Subscribe for more sharing content and like the video if you are so inclined. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. So arriving into Crewe.